Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. The whole one of you. So that's what I said. Everyone. So let's see who's here. Let me know where you're tuning in from, your age and gender. Tonight, we weren't supposed to have a live stream, but I thought maybe we should. A bunch of you have called, had commented, when is the next live stream? So here it is. If YouTube has let you know that we're live, then you will know that we're live. But if not, then you don't. So let me know your age, gender, where you're tuning in from, and we'll talk about thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego. We talk about breakups, how you can regain your balance, what games your mind plays with you after the breakup, emotional hardship. We talk about OCD, intrusive thoughts, pure O, HOCD, and whatnot. And we'll discuss whatever is concerning you on this live stream. If you need to talk to me further in regards to your breakup or OCD, you can go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com. I'll put it down here. And you can make an appointment for Skype chat, and we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. There we go. All right. You feel free to throw in your question. And don't be afraid. I won't bite. May Austin Power live long and prosper. I haven't heard from his movies. I understand he's making one. I hope he is. All right. So if you don't have any questions, I might as well pack it up and go watch a movie or do something. Otherwise, if you're here for entertainment, there is no entertainment here, by the way, unless you ask a question. San Pellegrino is not any sponsor of mine. I just like it. Dube 97, California. Well, California is good enough, thank you, but gender and age is what I'm also looking for. That helps me to know a little bit about you, how to address you, where you are, how far we're reaching out as far as demographics and geography is concerned, and to know if you're young enough to be here or too young to be here, and see if you have authorization from your parents to be here, or just necessary for me to know how old you are. Well, some nights starts like this, very slow, and then populates up. In the past, we used to have lots of takers on these live streams, but somehow I think maybe YouTube doesn't like what we talk about, or it doesn't circulate it as it should. So most of you don't even know we're live. Robin Richards is here. Says male 36 Sweden. Thank you for that. Says I have just right OCD. What is just right OCD? Is there a left OCD? Right OCD. What's your advice to overcome it? First, let me know what is right OCD, or is there another word that you want to use? Because I don't understand the question. Maybe you are telling me that you have just right OCD, which is a terminology I think they came up recently, at least not when I was a kid, which you want to make sure everything is quite right. Like they're in line, perfectly done. Is it slightly off? Or it's not quite right? No matter what you do. Is that what you're talking about? Because that's the only thing I can think of about just right OCD. Just right is supposed to mean a type of OCD that you're fussy about. If I've done this right, if I painted this part properly, is it perfectly lined up with this? Or all these three items on the table are in line? Is the tablecloth pulled properly? Uh, are you talking about this? Is that what you mean? Just to make sure I understand. Says Robin says it need to feel just right. Yeah. Okay. So that means you're saying yes to what I said, right? Did I understand you right? You just want to make sure everything is done right, which means do you doodle on the paper? Let's say when you're drawing something on the paper, you go over the lines a number of times, sometimes to the point that the pen or pencil you're using cuts in through the paper because you've gone over that line so many times. Do you check the oven too many times before you leave the apartment? When you lock the apartment, you check and make sure you come back and check. Do you turn the light switch on and off many times? Do you line up things properly? You want to make sure everything is square when you put all the magazines or books on the table. Is that what you're trying to tell me? So until I hear from you, I can go to Dub 97. And Dub 97 says, male 27, California. Thank you for that. It says, why do people think fear about feeling aroused in the presence of another person? Do people fear that that means attraction? So is sexual arousal around someone attraction? Well, uh, first of all, people don't. Only OCD brain, pure O, or intrusive thoughts of that sort would think or resort to this kind of a determination or interpretation. But I ask you a question. If nobody's around, huh, and you happen to get a hard on, you get an erection, what do you attribute that to? Let's say there's a tree in front of you. Are you going to say that's an attraction to a tree? Or when you get up in the morning, nobody's in the room, you have a hard on, morning wood. What does that mean? You're self-sexual, you turned on, your arousal for your own body? No. You get arousal anytime during the day for whatever the fuck the reason may be. Nobody cares. It's your biology. You get it, you get arousal. If happens that you have some woman that you see across the street or close by and you get arousal, well, that's what a heterosexual male does. If you are questioning that, if you have a male around you and you get an arousal, it doesn't mean anything. It's irrelevant. You get an arousal because you got an arousal. Maybe something, your memory, maybe something you remembered, maybe something shiny. Maybe you see a table with tablecloth and two seats and nobody's sitting there, but the brain associates that with some kind of a romantic situation. You may get an arousal that. What does that mean? You're cherosexual? Or maybe you see a horse in nice muscles and shiny coat and the muscles, you get arousal. Does that mean you're horsosexual? No. The brain doesn't necessarily focus on what it is that you're getting aroused. It associates the muscle, let's say, of a horse with muscle that is involved in a sexual relationship. And then it associates what it sees to a concept of sex. And then your body reacts to that concept that the brain is thinking. Brain might be triggered by some naked body of a man that you see, but that naked body of a man is not what gives you arousal. The fact that is naked, and naked in the brain associates with sex, because when you want to have sex, you're naked. So naked sex, and that's how the brain sees it. And then it goes to the concept of sex and you get aroused, but because there is a man there or there was a naked body there, you think you're interested in that gender. It's not true. It's the association of the brain to the concept of sex, having been triggered by something that could be associated with sex. Doesn't matter what gender, doesn't matter what animal. It could be a horse, it could be a shiny doorknob, it could be a table nicely set, plates around, candlelight, two seats and nobody there. This got nothing to do with your interest about that gender. It has to do with the association of the brain with the concept of sex, which it could be anything. Yeah. So anyhow, let's go back to Robin Richard said, let's say best tip to overcome OCD. It's not a tip. You need to understand what OCD comes in. I've got 1,000 videos on this channel at your convenience, free of charge. You can go watch them. Just put in HOCD and you'll see how many videos show up, and then look at the titles and see which one is pertaining your question, and then watch that one. It's explained to you in detail, the components of the brain involved, the malfunction of the signaling system, the role of midbrain, basal ganglia, striatum, caudate nucleus, the lever that shuts down intrusive thoughts. And when it doesn't, it's a malfunction of that lever, and how you can help that lever to regain its default setting and function as it does. You can use Dr. Schwartz 4 steps, which I've explained. Just key in 4 steps, and Dr. Schwartz 4 steps video comes in, which I've explained the 4 steps that Dr. Schwartz talks about in OCD and many other facts about it. There's no tips. It's not like that. And if you need to talk to me, you can go on my site, mind@seekstruth.com, and make an appointment for us to discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. And Stephen is here, male 43, Los Angeles. And thank you for that. And Stephen says, I'm at work and still try listening as much as I can while you're live. Excellent. Says, there are 2 things on my mind, and I owe you a super chat, by the way. You do? Okay, well, listen, we'll take it. Nobody else gives a super chat. Only Stephen or someone out of the blue. I guess in my channel, this culture hasn't taken roots. In every other channel that I've seen, when they question or they participate, the super chat, they support the channel. My channel for 13 years, I've carried it over my shoulder out of my own pocket, and nobody, pretty much, from, a couple of years into it, no one gives a super chat, which is odd. Because since this is the culture of the live streams, and at the same time, it's your channel. You don't support it. I'm not going to support it any more than 13 years that I've done. So it'll die, and let it die by the wayside. If you guys are not going to help the channel, that's okay. I'll just make videos and don't do live stream anymore. Because time worth money. And if you guys don't appreciate what you're getting here, then why should I, right? Now, Stephen, I appreciate you very much, and thank you for supporting the channel. You don't have to. You've done a lot. However, I don't stop you. All right, let's see. First, Stephen says, first was existence after death. Your thought on it. All right, let's talk about that. And tonight, I'm not going to ask if anybody else wants to hear about it now. You're going to hear it because that's my channel. And that's a question from a legitimate subscriber. All right. So you're questioning, what do you think about existence after death? Well, let's put it this way. There is a universe. We all can attest to that. We're here. And everything is made out of energy, science, and that's no bullshit. Everything is made out of energy. Now, that energy exists in where? In this universe, right? And the universe is expanding, or at least never-ending radius. In other words, if I think I'm center of the universe, that means from me to the right side is the same as from me to the left side, infinite, and from me to the front is infinite, from me to the back is infinite, and all in betweens, all directions, from me to all directions, to the ends of the universe is infinite, and it's the same. So I can say I'm center of the universe. So if that's the case, and this universe is expanding to any limits, infinite limits, but so we established that there is a universe. We all know there's a universe, so many stars and so many planets and so on and so forth. And so there's an energy that binds this universe together. There's an energy that has caused everything in this universe to be in existence. We do agree that there is an energy that has made everything that we touch and we see, we feel. Oxygen, oceans, mountains, plants, trees, made out of energy. We, animals, Mammals, us, human beings, the mammals, we're made out of energy. And in physics, we know that energy never dies. Energy never disappears. It changes. It can change, electric energy to heat energy, or light energy to heat again, or many different forms, chemical energy to this and that. But let's say water, you boil it, becomes steam, but it doesn't go anywhere. The steam cools and becomes water. So it can change shape. It transmits itself to something else, but never becomes nothing. So in other words, if energy cannot become zero, cannot become nothing, it can change to a different shape or different type of energy, but doesn't cease existence. And since we and everything else in this universe is made out of energy, so we cannot die. We cannot die. We can change shape, like our body, this vessel cannot hold energy any longer. Okay, let me explain it this way. Have you noticed when you get up in the morning, you're vigorous, huh? Lots of energy. But even if you don't do a damn thing all day long, sit on the couch and watch TV, at the end of the day, you feel exhausted. You feel low energy. You feel tired. You're not really up to get up, do much like you were in the morning when you had woken up with lots of energy. So, in other words, to facilitate your livelihood, there is something being consumed during the day. There's a fuel. There's something that is being used to keep you functioning as you wish for whatever it is you want to accomplish on that day. For that reason, even if you're sitting on the couch watching TV, in 5, 6, 7, 8 hours later, you feel kind of depleted, not feeling the same. So that means there's something. And then when you sleep at night, magically, you recharge, and in the morning, you're good again. So what happened during the night? Well, during the night, your frequencies turn into accepting the energy of the universe, a certain frequency that accepts the universe energy. So when you wake up, you're filled. It's like a battery of your toy that it needs to be charged. The toy and the battery, the energy fills you up in the morning. So you put your battery to a charger and it charges you up. And then your toy will work, whatever it does. And then when it depletes, the energy of the battery finishes, then you have to recharge it again. So same thing with you. You wake up, you're charged up, you do your things all day long, and then you feel kind of depleted. So you sleep again, charge up. Your battery, you put it to the plug and you charge it up. And then you keep doing this for years in your life, and you keep doing this for your toy, until there would be a day, after a while using it, the battery doesn't get charged, doesn't accept charge anymore. The toy still works. The battery doesn't get charged anymore of the toy. Same thing with us. We get older, and our vessel, which is supposed to sleep and get charged, doesn't receive that much, doesn't hold. The charge is there. The universal has the energy through the electricity, and it can give you the charge, let's say, for the toy. Same thing. The universe has the energy, and it does what it always did in our youth and in our time, in our livelihood. When we slept, it charged us up. But like that battery, when we get old, if we haven't taken care of ourselves sooner than later, our body doesn't hold charge anymore. Even the universe does give and provides that energy that it always did. So then you don't work anymore because the charge is not there. But the actual charge that you were connected to the universe still exists. You just don't hold that. So when you don't hold charge, like the toy still works, the charger doesn't work. The toy doesn't die, you don't die, just you can't hold charge. And then you change into whatever it is that you change. That I don't know, but I believe you change to different kind of energy. That's why I say you don't die. Plus the fact that when you die, what the hell happens to that energy? Let's say it goes. Where does it go? We know it doesn't die because energy doesn't die. It just changes to something else. But where does it go? It can't go out of the universe. It can go only as where the universe exists, and universe exists infinitely, right? So where does it go? It can't go outside the universe. So it's still inside the universe, that energy, whatever it has turned into. So therefore, we can't see it, but we're still there. We exist. The energy exists. Our experiences through our lifetime exist, and it goes back to Akashic library, goes back to the consciousness of the universe, collective consciousness of the universe. That's where we get all the information that goes back into it, the Akashic universal library. So our consciousness doesn't die, it just goes to Akashic universal library. And our energy, just we can't hold the energy, but what we were as an entity, we just changed to something else. But we're around. Yeah, that's what I think about, and I'm unanimous on that. So and the second, Stephen says, I feel so disappointed and sad that my dad isn't here to experience the election out here. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Stephen adds, he became really into politics, and a lot of what he told me was true. I feel really bad and still have images of him when he was sick. Yes, I know. I know. But you know, since I believe he's around in different shape, the energy that he spent experiencing this life has affected everyone in the universe, whether he knew it, whether the other people knew him or not, because we all affect each other, no matter what we are, where we are, what we do. And I believe we are, every single one of us, human beings on this earth, we are tentacles of the universal consciousness. In other words, universe is gaining more experience and knowledge and wisdom through our experiences in this cycle of life, in every cycle of life, and through our experiences, which is connected to the universe as we come from universal energy. Therefore, our connection is never severed from the universe. So what we learn through the experiences in this life, in this journey of life, it helps the universe to become wiser and more knowledgeable than what it is, even if it is perfectly knowledgeable. But there are different tangents and levels and angles of experience that everyone goes through, and therefore it experienced that through us as the tentacles of the universe. So therefore, all that experiences that goes back to the universe causes us to still can believe that we're still here. Where can we go? Where can what has created us and has given us life to go? When it has come from the universe, it goes back to the universe, and the universe hasn't gone anywhere or hasn't disappeared. So it is, again, part of what it came from it. We came from the universe, therefore we go back to universe, but we go back with a certain kind of a message, which is our consciousness. So we can't die, universe can't die. We go back to universe, the universe is still there. We're part of that, so we're around. So your father is still connected to the universe, and his teachings and his sharing his life connected to you. And he's part of the universe. And this election happened in this universe, and he's part of it. So he knows, so to speak. And you're here, you know, and your consciousness is aware of him. And I believe all consciousnesses are connected through the universal consciousness, collective consciousness of the universe. So through you and through his connections with the collective consciousness of the universe, and he's been back there, I wouldn't have doubt that he knows. So do all other loved ones who are not here. And we have Irmantas. I think Irmantas, that's the first time you're participating in our live stream. He has sent us 10 pounds, send 10 pounds super chat, and thank you for that. He says, thank you for your live stream. You're quite welcome. I've never noticed that you were here, but it's quite gracious of you to appreciate and support the channel. Divine Fall is asked, is love a feeling or a chemical-based substance? Neither. In my opinion, neither. Or is it something it cannot be presided, what? It cannot be presided? Is beyond our consciousness? No, it's not beyond your consciousness. In my opinion, love is a frequency. It's a resonation. It's a frequency. But love and lust are different. Lust is pleasure. Love is a frequency of happiness and motivation. So in other words, lust is dopamine and love is serotonin, two different neurotransmitters. And love doesn't happen at first sight. That is what people feel and say, oh, I love her. That's not love, that's lust. Love happens in the consciousness after getting to know each other, after understanding how you treat each other, how you accommodate each other, how you resonate with each other, how you find things in common with each other, how unselfish you are toward each other, how you care and protect each other. And that is what happens in the consciousness, and that needs time. And therefore, love happens in time in the consciousness. So that is one of these characteristics. The other one is that's the frequency resonation that comes through understanding compatibility on the consciousness level, the values and so on and so forth. And of course, there are aesthetics that is the pleasure part, that is the lust for the aesthetics. Every one of us likes something sexual and romantic, but that's our physical aesthetic lustfulness. It has nothing to do with love, as love takes place in the consciousness and is beyond the physical realm, as far as I could explain it. And getting back to Stephen also says, I still have images of him when he was sick. Yes, because those were the last images you saw your dad as. But if you go back a little bit, your dad's lifespan cannot be summed up in the last few months of his life. He was bigger than the last few months of his life. His story was much longer than last few months of his life. if I'm not mistaken, he was what, about 60 years old or something of that sort. So a few months of it at the end is what you remember, but the few months of it at the end was not really uh, all his life, was it? Not even minuscule of it, no, not even 1% of it. So why don't you simply focus on your dad the way he lived, not the way he died? Why don't you focus on the story of his life, not the story of his death? I remember how my father looked when he was in the hospital and I saw him for the last time. He had the percolator on, and when he was breathing, he was making noise, like blah, 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 because he had gotten pneumonia in the hospital and his lungs were filled with water. I can remember that. But that was one day. All my memory is focused on how my father drove me, or let's say drove with his friend 800 kilometers to see me compete in one of the large equestrian shows that I was participating with my team. What I remember is when I was a kid, and my father came home from one of his business trips, and he had two packages of vinyl records. At the time, there was no CD or whatnot. And he had two of them, one for my brother, one for me. And in it, there were a bunch of, records of Beatles and the stars of that time. I remember my father telling me, "You're such a good father, son. I wasn't even such a good father to you. Like the way you connect with your son." I remember what I learned from him. I remember his speeches. I remember I was his guard with two airmen when he was going to speak politically. I remember lots of things about him, glorious things. Only one day, few days when he was admitted to the hospital, and I saw him that he was being examined and tested. The night that he wanted pizza, I got him pizza. He was having that pizza with such an interest. But that was one day. But his life was far bigger than that. So rich, such a hard working man, such an educated man, scholar. That's how I remember my dad. I don't remember him 90% of the time when he was in the hospital. I remember him 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, at this experience of life I had with him, how he treated me, how he talked with me, how he taught me, how we connected, how we, the experiences of life. You can choose to remember how one died or how one lived. I suggest the latter because that is your dad's life. Again, San Pellegrino is not my sponsor. I just like it. All right, God damn it, you got me all mushy and all that. So stop disrespecting your father and remembering him as he died. It was one fucking day or month or 2, 3 months like that. Think of him the way he was. You always went there, talked to him, had fun with him, and all that stuff. Now, I'm going to mute it because I'm going to blow my nose. Come on, think about other questions. All right. All right. Fuck you, Stevens. Steven. All right. All right. uh, Divine Fold says, is there something higher than love? If so, what do you think it is? It's there's nothing higher than love, but there is a love higher than other loves. There's a romantic love, there's a love for your work, there's a love for the topic of your studies, there's love for your life, there's love for your research, there's love for your girlfriend or a wife, whatever your situation may be. And then there's love for your children. I believe there's no higher love than love for your offspring. If you're a normal person and you dedicated your life to their little life until you deliver themselves to themselves, you took care of them, you took good care of them. And that is the love that is the higher echelon of it. When I got married, I mean, I fell in love or thought it was love many times in my life. You know, pretty much any girl I would see across the street, I said, "Oh, I'm in love," and of course, you know, I didn't know that was lust, not love. But I did experience love, and I thought that is the highest amount of love that you can have, the emotion when, let's say, you fall in love with a woman and you have love for your parents, you have love for your father, you have love for your mother. But when my son was born, I understood there's a level of love that I never thought exists. That's a love that you causes you not even care about your own life. You are willing to do anything, however, to protect your child. Sacrifice for your child, whatever it may be. That's the highest level of love. If you are a loving father, loving mother. Some people are parents and they don't give a shit. They're still in love with themselves. Those fuckers can go die. But there are parents who are normal. They love their children and they do whatever they can for them, whatever is possible for them. And that's all I can say. But, you know, with that kind of a love, there is something piggybacks to that love, which maybe that is what also one of the characteristics, that higher level of love. And that's a loyalty without question. There are many kind of loyalties. Loyalty to your corporation, loyalty to your job, to your purpose, to your parents, to your spouse. But then there is a loyalty to your child. If you're a normal person and you love your child, you will never betray your child. You will be true to him or her until you die and beyond. That's the highest echelon of love that I can describe, that I know of. All right. Now, Miyamoto is here. He says, hi, Miranda. Hello, Miyamoto. So, what else do we have here? Looks like we answered all the questions. And it's 46 minutes and 41, 2, 3 seconds and go on. There are 4 people here. I wonder why is it so small? I mean, our gathering, while we talk about topics that I don't think anywhere else is talked about. Miyamoto says channel is sadly dying. Well, you know, tonight nobody's here, but the other night we had whopping 8 or 9 people here. I think just like my TikTok channel, maybe TikTok doesn't, I mean, maybe YouTube doesn't like what we talk about, which is truth. Or simply just my tags are not helping the channel to circulate. And somehow we need to resurrect this channel. And mostly because, you know, I don't think our subscribers are, you know, supporting the channel as far as viewership. Most of our viewers are new, and that's probably one of the reasons. All right, so we're going to hang around, and I'll give you a little break to put your hat together and think of some questions that you want to ask. Miyamoto says, make some content on trending topics. Honestly, it will boost the channel crazily. But you know, I'm not about trending topics. I'm about the topics that we're talking about. I'm here to help the people with the topics that we are experts in. I'm not going to be talking about fashion or some kind of I don't know, or politics on this channel. I've been talking about politics of Canada and North America in my TikTok and Instagram, which I had 3 channels and 2 of them have been erased because TikTok is just an entity who wants to censure people who speak the truth, and they come up with all kind of stupid excuses. Like one of my videos that was X'd as community guideline violation was about milk. An expert PhD researcher was talking about connection of milk and diabetics, because milk has fructose in it. Fructose is one of the sugars. And they call that community guideline violation, while the same video on another channel had thousands and thousands of views and thousands of likes. They target my channel because I've been talking for the past 3-4 years about the indecency of the Canadian government. And obviously, TikTok is an arm of the government, unfortunately, although it's Chinese owned, but they're all in the same shit, the globalists. So one of my own videos, which I'm very careful in the words that I use, that there's no excuse for them to ever hang anything on my videos, and never could. At viewership of 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 videos that I would put down in a week. So, and I never could hang anything on it. But this one, they called it community guideline violations, while the same video of my own on my other channel, I had two channels, having thousands of viewers and thousands of likes. They just targeted to come up with excuses. And when you would appeal that community guideline violation strike, they would say appeal received, but they would never answer it. You would never know how to follow it back. So, hey, listen, you asked me to appeal, and I told you you appeal, but you look at it. No, until they use another one, and for no reason, suddenly my channel was gone. Luckily, I had two channels, so I would upload the same videos on the same. And the other one, I could see that they're going to do the same thing. So I dumped most or bunch of my videos onto another one, a new one. And the new one is only a few weeks old. My channels had about maybe 20,000, 15, 20,000 followers. And this one has like 100 or less than 200. And they're doing the same thing. They already called community violation on the same video that never had a community violation on the other channels that were deleted. So it's a target. So I've already copied all my videos on this channel just in case they delete it. I put it on another channel. And probably the same thing is happening here. So I don't know what to do with it. It's a good thing that we are not a communist country. If they can get a hold and control while we are not a communist, imagine what would happen if this country would have become a communist, as present government's leader, so to speak, has expressed his love and attention and interest in the basic communism. Anyhow, and Miyamata says, are there many Indians in Canada? What's your opinion? Oh yeah. There's so many people from India, and that's why this guy Jagmeet Singh, who, to my knowledge and opinion, is the reason that we are in such a difficult situation, not being able to have election to vote this government out, is because Jagmeet Singh, leader of NDP, has cooperated and made a deal with the Liberals, and is created a majority when neither one have majority, and they're passing bills to change laws to change the bills the way they like. So until they call it, we can't have an election. If they're brave enough to call the election, we would vote for Pierre Poilievre, and hopefully he will lead the country the way Mr. Trump in United States is going to lead that country. I'm very delighted that Mr. Trump won the presidency, and hopefully we'll have the old values and proper values, the American values and Canadian values back in place, and hopefully his bid for democracy and leadership would extend over across the border, and hopefully will be influenced positively and end up having an election to choose a government who would serve us better. Oops. All right. Looks like nobody's here anymore. Stephen is gone. He just caused me to cry. And he's gone to his work. All right, guys. It's been almost an hour. I'm coughing like hell. I don't know why. Maybe I'll have some of this. It looks like there are no more questions. So it's time for me to say, I love you all. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. It may all seem like a mystery to you right now, but you can always go to my YouTube channel where you will find over 300 videos on this subject and more. You can find out exactly why you feel the way you do and why your thoughts are the way they're reacting and the role of your psyche in all this. Plus, how to feel good again, become strong and get your confidence back and ready to move on. And more importantly, how to move on. And you will certainly be fine once you know how your mind works, dear. If you still needed to talk to me one-on-one, that's always possible through my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. There you can book a Skype consultation time for us and we can chat about what's concerning you. This is what I do with all people who need it from all around the world.